Many people still believe the United States is the flawless blueprint of a superpower, a trillion-dollar war machine, 11 aircraft carriers cruising the oceans, and an air force larger than most nations' entire militaries. But the recent wars in Ukraine and the Middle East exposed a brutal truth. You can have the biggest arsenal on Earth and still lose. And now, America is copying the Iranian Shahed drone. Yes, the same budget drone Iran built almost 20 years ago, and sending their shiny new clone to the Middle East to deter Iran. You can almost imagine Iran laughing. So what are we supposed to do now? America is sending a knockoff of our old drone to destroy us. How clueless can Trump possibly be? But here's the part no one wants to say out loud. This decision exposes a truth America is desperately trying to hide. They forgot how to fight. The country that once invented the future of warfare is now copying others, while China quietly moved far beyond all of them. Because China didn't just build another cheap weapon. They created something astonishing, a system even more effective than the low-cost tools Iran and Russia use. A weapon with 3 terrifying advantages that place the entire Western world face-to-face with their worst nightmare. So let's dive straight into this shocking new Chinese weapon. And before we begin, check the Telegram link below. That's where we drop the uncensored, next-level content we can't risk posting here. I'll see you over there. Look at the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine used the American Patriot system to shoot down Russian fighter jets. 2 Patriot missiles, each costing about $2.5 million, fired to destroy a jet worth around $50 million. On paper, that's actually a win, about 10 cost efficiency for Ukraine. But the moment Russia unleashed its Shahed drones, costing anywhere between $20,000 and $50,000, the entire equation flipped. Even if one Shahed gets shot down by a Patriot, Russia forces Ukraine to burn tens of millions of dollars defending against something that costs almost nothing. It's like stopping an enemy's cheap anti-tank rocket by sacrificing your own tank. It makes no sense. We saw the same thing during the Iran-Israel confrontation in the True Promise operation. Iran spent roughly $35 million on its strike. Meanwhile, the US and Israel spent around $2.5 billion trying to defend, plus another $1 billion burned by France, the UK, and Jordan. The West spent 100 times more than Iran. And still, Iran managed to level Israeli air bases. China watched all of this very closely. And instead of ignoring these lessons, China decided to build a super weapon capable of doing everything Iran and Russia did, but on an entirely different level. Something far more advanced than anything the world has ever seen. That weapon is the newly revealed Chinese hypersonic missile known as the YKJ-1000. Many analysts are desperately trying to downplay its capabilities, calling it just another missile. Spoiler, it's not even close. First, let's compare it to Iran's K-Bar-Shikan and Russia's Iskander ballistic missile. Russia's Iskander reaches around Mach 5. Iran's K-Bar-Shikan goes up to Mach 7. And yes, Iran and Russia have true hypersonic missiles too, but these 2 examples are their cheaper tactical versions. The Russian missile costs about $3 million each. The Iranian missile costs around $350,000. But the Chinese YKJ-1000, it costs under $100,000. Yes, a hypersonic missile that costs less than 30% of Iran's already low-cost missile. For comparison, America's future hypersonic missiles are expected to cost $12 million each per missile. And if you think the price is the shocking part, we're just getting started. This missile has 2 more features that not only make it the best missile in the world, but threaten to rewrite the global order in China's favor. Imagine a Patriot system in Ukraine. For every target, whether it's a cruise missile or a fighter jet, it fires 2 missiles to increase the chance of a kill. That's $5 million gone instantly. Now imagine Israel's Arrow 3 and David's Sling systems firing at an Iranian ballistic missile. 2 Arrow interceptors and 2 David Sling missiles go up, and suddenly Israel spends $15 million to stop a missile that cost Iran only $350,000. Not very cost-effective, is it? But China's YKJ-1000 has a genius trick. This missile flies toward its target with hypersonic maneuvers like any other advanced weapon. But once you imagine 4 interceptors worth $15 million being fired at it, the YKJ-1000 simply dodges all 4 and keeps going. Then, when it reaches the target area, it does something no ballistic missile has ever done. It stays above its target, circling, twisting, maneuvering like it's taunting the entire air defense network. Almost like the missile is saying, "I'm up here. If you can shoot me down, go ahead." And that's when the chaos begins. Every air defense system in the world, when trying to intercept a ballistic missile, runs algorithms to predict its path. Because of the insane speed of ballistic missiles, prediction is necessary. But hypersonic missiles, as mentioned, don't have predictable paths. That's the ultimate power of China's new missile. By maneuvering above its target, it forces every air defense unit in the area to fire at it. First, it makes the enemy waste tens of interceptors on a single Chinese missile. The defenders end up wishing the missile would just hit its target, because that would actually be cheaper than wasting 20 or more extremely expensive interceptors trying to stop it. The second reason the YKJ-1000 behaves this way is to force every air defense system to reveal its position. The moment they fire at it, their location is exposed. Now let's turn this into real numbers and compare the cost of this kind of battle. China fires one missile that costs about $100,000. The enemy fires at least 4 interceptors, costing between $10 and $20 million. That means for just 4 shots, the enemy is already spending 100 to 200 times more than China. But it rarely ends at 4. If the defenders decide to fire 10 interceptors, the cost becomes insane. China still spends $100,000, while the enemy burns through 25 to 50 million. That turns the cost ratio into 1 versus 250, even up to 1 versus 500. This missile is literally designed to bankrupt a superpower. No nation on Earth can keep up with this kind of economic warfare. And the crazy part? We still haven't talked about the best feature of this weapon, the thing that makes the YKJ-1000 the most unique missile on the planet. Some people will instantly comment that this missile is an easy target for future US laser weapons, and that everything in this video is nonsense. But anyone who says that clearly doesn't understand ballistic missiles or laser weapons. First, lasers are still an immature technology. Even the most powerful laser systems in the world are completely at the mercy of weather. Think about America's own prized B-2 Spirit bomber, a legendary aircraft that can literally be damaged by rain. Lasers have the same weakness. Their range and effectiveness collapse the moment there is mist, clouds, dust, humidity, sandstorms, anything in the air. If you can't clearly see the target, the laser becomes useless at medium and long range. And we're talking about the future here, because most lasers today can only handle small, low-flying drones. They are nowhere near ready to take down ballistic missiles, and especially not hypersonic missiles. Ballistic missiles are built to survive extreme heat and punishment. Hypersonic missiles fly at low altitude through dense air and perform violent maneuvers while facing temperatures far higher than normal ballistic weapons. That alone gives them a kind of natural armor against even very powerful lasers. So if we look ahead 10 or 20 years, it's extremely unlikely that anyone will develop a laser strong enough and reliable enough in bad weather to shoot down a hypersonic missile like the YKJ-1000. But the truly terrifying part isn't the future-proof design, it's the accessibility. China built this missile so it can be manufactured using almost household-level materials. Yes, you heard that correctly. This missile doesn't rely on exotic metals or rare composite structures. Many of its components can be built using materials civilians can buy from stores: foam, concrete, simple molds. But why would China do that? Why not fill it with advanced materials and special chipsets to make it even more deadly? Because advanced parts make missiles expensive. Cheap, common materials make them universal. It means any nation, even one with no access to advanced manufacturing, could build this missile. Imagine a country like Venezuela, constantly bullied by the United States. If they had access to the YKJ-1000 blueprint, everything would change. With a range of around 1,300 kilometers and speeds up to Mach 7 at low altitude, this missile can even penetrate hardened bunkers. The simple construction method means this weapon could one day be produced right at America's doorstep. And that makes the YKJ-1000 feel less like a missile, and more like a coded warning from China to the United States. Watch your behavior, because the price you might pay could be unimaginable. Please support our cause by sharing, liking, and subscribing. And don't forget to check our Telegram channel. The content we post there can't be found anywhere else. This is Eastwind Brigade, where our voices unite and we rise together.